the unstoppable force that everyone thinks is the Eagles, their defense, just how well built they are. And then you just have the lightning in a bottle that is the Miami Dolphins. And at any moment, they're down 14-0 to the Carolina Panthers. And then it's like you blink and they're up 28-14.
Yeah. And here's the matchup here. I mean, this is an absolutely insane stat. The Dolphins are or the Dolphins offense is 499 yards per game on average. Is that offense?
That's stupid.
But the kicker is it is very stupid. The kicker is that the 26 points allowed, which if Jalen Hurts and company get back on the horse and AJ Brown tears them up, I think this could be a very high scoring game. I think this could resemble that Bills game. And you got to wonder if that happens, if the Eagles defense gets to Tua, this becomes a completely different game. And that's what we saw during that Bills game with the Dolphins. So if the Eagles can figure that out, then I would almost say that the Eagles could take this game.
Yeah, and to your point, I think if that happens, we could almost see an exact same situation where the Eagles take it pretty handedly because, the number says 37 points per game for the Dolphins. They scored 70 1 week. Okay, that is going to take your average and skyrocket it. So, yeah, that obviously, if you take that out, I think they're closer to 30, which is still insane,
Yeah.
But it is closer than it looks on the stat sheet. But it's all going to come down to the Eagles defense. If the Eagles defense does what the Eagles defense can do and even hold Miami to 21, 28 points, it's weird saying hold someone to 28 points, but that's kind of what you have to do. This could legitimately be a race to 30.
Yeah, I agree. And so it sounds like we're both kind of pulling for the Eagles here on this one. I think it just makes sense. The Eagles should have a pretty decent bounce back game, but that offense and Tyreek Hill has just been playing out of his mind. Here's some stats from Tyreek as well. Just ridiculous numbers: 814 yards, 42 receptions, and 6 touchdowns in 6 games. That is absolutely wild. He's gone on record as saying that he wants to try to get to 2,000 yards receiving this year. What do you think the odds are that actually happens for Tyreek?
I mean, on the pace he's at, incredible. I mean,
2,300 is the pace that he's at right now. But is that really sustainable? I mean,
if there's any offense that can do it, and I say that because I think they are set up to get him 1 to 2 deep shots a game.
Yeah.
So they're playing to his strength. What will be interesting is towards the end of the season, if they have all their spots, they have the division, they have stuff like that. If he's close, if he's playing in that final week, it could really come down to what's more important, getting 2,000 or resting.
Right.
But I think he gets close. I think the football fan in me wants him to do it. I mean, I think it would be cool. And as the fantasy owner too, but
damn. All right. Yeah, I do not have Tyreek. I'll say this. If Tua stays healthy, and that's a big if because he hasn't been healthy for an entire season yet. If he stays healthy, then I think that Tyreek can do it. If he doesn't, then that's not happening. And that's kind of why, it's great to be high on the Dolphins right now, and they're doing some really special things. And I don't want to take that away from them, but the season is still early. We're still very early.
We haven't seen the Dolphins play 17 games, a full 17 game season. They started 1-7 the 1 year, won out the final 8.
Yeah.
And they started 7-1 last year, lost out 7 the last 8. So when they can put together a full 17 game season, then I think we can start looking at them as, oh, this is a threat. But like you said, if suddenly the Eagles come out and do what the Bills did to them, now the 2 big tests on their schedule so far are blowout to the Bills and would be a loss to the Dolphins or to the Eagles. that really starts to, okay, you put 70 on the Broncos. Cool. Like
You
it
start to
starts to,
question you start to
yeah.
question how they're going to actually fare in the playoffs,
Mhm.
because let's be honest, they're probably
Yeah.
going to the playoffs at this point.
Yeah.
Or are they going to be a one and done team? And if they do
Mhm.
lose to the Eagles, you're going to start asking those questions and start assuming that they probably will be, if they don't kind of figure out how to beat these playoff caliber teams.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things where they have to win the division, because if they have to go to Buffalo in January, that offense isn't traveling to Buffalo.
I mean, look, I love a lot of the personnel on that team.
Mhm.
I hope the Dolphins do well. It's not saying
Yeah.
that I hope they don't, but man, you got to kind of start to wonder. Some of those
Yeah.
negative thoughts creep in a little bit and be like,
Mhm.
well,
We're
they're great in the regular season, but what happens once the playoffs come around?
Yeah, we're getting to the point of year where they start blowing it like last year. So I think, if just another loss here starts getting those thoughts back. So
Yeah.
I hope the offense keeps up, because I think it's really fun to watch. But it's definitely gonna be interesting to see with this test what they do.